Right, how y'all doing? Dim here, living your world, dying mine, which is frankly terrible because I'm not a very good gamer. I want to do a pickups video, which I don't think I've ever done before. I might have done, but I'm old enough to be furniture at this point. I think as far as online is concerned, I've done everything, pretty much everything, other than maybe OnlyFans. And that's just because I don't really think there's much of a market for, you know, big, fat, balding, middle-aged old men. If there is, let me know. But I don't remember doing any of this before. So, pickups. I've watched people do this kind of thing before. Woodland, shout out to Woodland, and Dan the Retro Nerd, and a bunch of other guys way back in the day. Figured I'd have a little dabble, but I want to tell a story because I want you to bear with me, and I don't want to ramble too much, which is kind of redundant because I'm rambling now, but I want to kind of set the stage. I've had a somewhat decent gaming collection before, over the years, right? And life happens. It happens to all of us, whether we like it or not. Stuff happens. It's completely out of our control, and change, right? And that's actually where all of this has kind of come from. I don't want to show off things that I already own, but that plays into this a little bit because I used to have a gaming setup. I've had numerous kind of gaming setups over the years, and for one reason or another, they're not a thing. You know, we used to have a big old rack of shelves with consoles hooked up and controls all hooked up to a nice big TV, running through a nice scaler. You know, what was it like at the time? It would have been a FrameMeister, an OSSC, RetroTink was there, and that was all hooked up, ready to do live streamy stuff if we wanted to for a laugh. And then that kind of became no. You know, life happens. It happens to us all. Things change. You don't expect it. You know, you buy something. You could lose it, break it, could get stolen. You might find yourself moving house, city, country, whatever. Things happen. You have to start shifting things around. Things happen, you know. Collections fade, and it was an all right setup. You know, we went from like Atari all the way up to PC. We did a lot of Linux gaming. We didn't mind playing retro games through like EverDrive. So if we wanted to play like a fan translation or something, we could just bam straight into the console. There you go. Well, this game's cool, but I don't understand a word of it. Let's play Sailor Moon and Tenchi Muyo on the Super Nintendo. Don't worry, we've got a fan translation of that. Whap that on the EverDrive, or was it the SD to SNES or whatever. Bam, in through the scalers, on the big telly, looking rad. And yeah, that kind of stopped being a thing. Still have a lot of that collection, but I don't have easy access to it. I want to say as well, we've done FPGA and we emulate, but I'm not against any of that stuff at all. It doesn't have to be original hardware, which is a good thing, really, because majority of my gaming has been, you know, that's my setup. If it doesn't run on any of this stuff, then I haven't been playing, really. So this stuff is mainly because it doesn't play on that stuff, kind of, right? I mean, we've done the retro handheld stuff too, so I love those, absolutely love those. Emulation's great if you want to carry loads of games in your pocket, absolutely great. That little setup, somewhere between like Atari and PS2 is somewhat reasonable. PS3, you're starting to hit kind of an edge. I don't really know what emulation for that kind of stuff is like at this point. I know you can, but on my rig, probably not. And I did have access to big boy beef and PCs, but if it's not that rig now, it's not readily available. Okay, so we have that stuff, but it's not super easy to get hold of. And some of this stuff we already own, whether it be digital or it's somewhere else or whatever. We already own some of this stuff, but just kind of the craving was there. We go into a store as a family, and I'm like, yeah, man, why not? Some of this stuff's like dirt cheap. And PlayStation 3 is a good one as well, because all of the other systems, servers being shut down. So you can't access the online servers, you can't sync saves, you can't download patches or anything like that. Xbox 360, Nintendo DS, that kind of stuff. It's gone. This stuff is still somewhat functional. Some multiplayer servers are probably gone, but patching servers are still up, and all that kind of thing. So what actually started this off was something I already owned. I started to kind of get this craving for something that I wasn't quite necessarily able to emulate at the time, and that was this PlayStation Vita TV. You can emulate Vita stuff, but it's a handheld, and handhelds are usually like mega gimmicky. If it's gimmicky, Nintendo DS, Wii U, Wii, like Vita, where you've got like touch screens and stuff on the back and motion controls and stuff. Emulation's fine, but just there are some things that are kind of lost in translation, and it's great to have access to the actual hardware to do that kind of stuff. And I got really frustrated with this. This is my original PlayStation Vita TV. I call it the Vita TV because it is a Vita TV, even though Sony didn't call it the Vita TV in the West. It says PlayStation Vita on there, so Sony is a Vita TV. I get really frustrated because I've had a decent collection, and out of nowhere I couldn't find the power cables for this, and my memory card died. A 64 gig memory card, and it just completely flaked, and all of my stuff was gone. And so I couldn't find any of the stuff. It's probably storage somewhere, as most stuff is right now. It'd be a nightmare to try and find the cables. We own 2 Vita TVs in the house, couldn't find cables for either of them. We own Vita consoles. Here we go. Here's my original OLED in here from way back in the day. In fact, actually, just as a note, I've only just learned of the term VitaIsland. I am very much a Vita Islander. I love the Vita. But like, I couldn't find any of the stuff for this, and it was driving me absolutely up the wall. And so I had to order. I hate being that guy that owned things, but then I have to then order something else to use it. By the way, there's Fantasy Star Online. That was the main thing I played on the Vita. Amazing game. We played it in Japanese on the Japanese servers. Used to go to like coffee shops and cafes and stuff. When I was out and about, this would be busted out, and I would play that game. In fact, actually one of the main reasons why I got the bigger memory card, because you need to patch that game. It was amazing to play on this. But I couldn't find any of the cabling, couldn't find any of the chargers for the proprietary Vita on the FAT, and so I had to order third-party cables. This is the third-party cable for the Vita. Not a huge fan because it's tight. And just in case anyone was curious, the Vita TV runs on a PSP charger. So you can actually buy USB barrel jack PSP chargers, and that will run the Vita TV. And I was like, cool, let's do this. I also then find that Vita memory cards new are mega expensive still. Like mega expensive. If you want to get a replacement 64 gig card, it was going to cost me about £200. And I was like, nah, mate. What are my other options without buying like a potentially skanky second-hand memory card? You can hack your Vita now, and there you go. SD to Vita, just put an SD card in there. You have to soft mod the Vita, but you can then use a regular memory card to store your digital games or whatever, and job done. Soft mod and stuff is something that I'm also pretty cool with, because life, I had kids years and years and years ago during the PS3 days, and if anyone were to look up any of my profiles, they go, there's massive gaps where you didn't play anything at all. True, I had children, and children don't necessarily get on with discs. discs, physical media, and if you lived in a small house and there was nowhere to really put the stuff, this was around the time of custom firmwares, reset glitch hacked Xboxes, stuff like that. And we modified a couple of systems and we would just copy our games onto those, play those, and then nothing would get synced server side. We'd occasionally kind of blip on and off, but we did play, just not a huge amount. Children. We're making up for that now. So I get really frustrated that I'm the guy that owns most of this stuff and then can't find cabling and stuff. And it was so annoying. And we own PlayStation 3s. We own 2 PlayStation 3s. I just said we had a PlayStation 3 Fat, PlayStation 3 Slim that we put custom firmware on to dump games on. If we want to do any online game with our friends, we just pop the disc into the Fat system and kind of like, stay away, children, that kind of thing. But problematic, all right? So I don't have access to those PlayStations. I know roughly where they are, but my God, if you want to dig through that stuff, you better have some pretty decent insurance, because there's a health hazard. Most of my collection is now part of a health hazard. We walked into a shop and 65 quid. It's kind of scuffed. It's from CEX, as all of this stuff is, because, you know, I don't generally like buying stuff secondhand. But here's the trick, right? PlayStation 3 is really cheap. Like, really cheap. For whatever reason, really cheap. And as I said, because the servers and all that are up, the patching and things, then might as well. This was a 12 gig, modified it with an SSD. Don't put an SSD in a PlayStation 3. It doesn't benefit at all, but it was cheap. I did that, and I've gone and installed over 100 games on here. I haven't soft modded it. 100 games off of PSN, because we started buying digital games too when we had the Killy links. Download them all on here, and now, you know, playability is a thing. We just walked in with the family, and one of my boys found these. These are his pickups. He saw this as a joke, because it was basically Sony's answer to Smash, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, platform fighter. I did look to buy this for him at one point, even when we didn't have the access to the PlayStation. And he's a big fan of Sonic. He'd played Sonic 06 when he was a little dot, played it on the Xbox 360, and we enjoyed it because it was funny, it was glitchy, it was all right, other than the kind of the running towards the screen missions. But he wanted these, and I had this craving to play Gran Turismo, and I can emulate all of the Gran Turismo games up until the ones on the PlayStation 3. And so when he saw these and wanted these, we picked up this, and then this nightmare happened. It was actually already starting to happen. So onto the kind of actual pickup-y bit of the video. So we grabbed ourselves another PlayStation. We're kind of building a new games room setup out of this stuff at some point, I guess, maybe, I don't know. But PlayStation, and then, as I said, we said Gran Turismo, so we'll go with GT. As I say, PlayStation games are well cheap, so, you know, we grab those. Prologue 5 and 6. Fantastic. We saw this, and I remember playing this. This one was particularly fun, so I just grabbed this one just for lols. Little Big Planet 2. Also remember playing the Little Big Planet games with friends and family years ago. Had lots of fun. I don't remember if we ever played Little Big Planet 2 and 3 on the actual system. I think we may have played them dumped, and I know we had Little Big Planet 2 digitally, but we've now got it again physically for reasons. Really fun game, just like loads of people could make maps and worlds, and you'd go around and just kind of jump around. It's a platformer. It was really fun. And you play this little guy, Sackboy, which my boys used to call Acorn when they were tiny, for reasons I'm not entirely sure. But really fun game. The servers for the creation stuff gone. You can still do the creation-y stuff, though. So you can still make your own levels, I believe. But fun game. I would have got Little Big Planet 3, but whatever. Batman. I actually started playing this on PC. Most of these games, actually, I should say, we already own on PC or another platform, or we may have already owned it on PlayStation, but hey, we're starting again, so Batman Arkham Asylum. We owned this on Xbox. I definitely own it on PC. I started playing this one recently at a friend's my friend recommended it. I'd had it for years and years and years and years and years, never played it, had to go at it. It's actually alright, but I'm looking to go through again. Everybody's Golf. I saw this. I don't know why this is Hot Shots Golf in the States. I just had this craving for a random golf game, and there's a golf game. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's quite like if you ever played the Mario sports games where the kind of goes a little bit over the top, but it's kind of like that, but kind of not. A little bit more. I'm gonna say it's like more real golf, but it's definitely fun and goofy and all that. So, you know, I want to play this. This one, if you go on PSN, it still says that the servers are up on the PSN listing, but yeah, the one that's after this, which is just called Everyone's Golf or Everybody's Golf, the servers are off. I haven't tried to play this online, but then this is also one of, I think, the early titles where trophies and stuff went on it. So because all of that stuff is still on, you might as well, you can still buy, if you can still buy games cheap, you might as well get them. With the Xbox and stuff, just RGH or recycle it, check it like we did with one of our old ones and go like that. But having a chance to play all these are in this pass specifically because we already have them digitally. They're already installed on the system. I think some of these other ones are digitals. Battlefield 3, it's a fun little story. Deus Ex, Human Revolution, it's a quid, can't complain. Wait, is this this isn't the director's cut, is it? So this will be the gold filter version. I own both of these on PC. Uncharted, we've owned these for ages. Again, I own this digitally. Never actually played it. It was Cocky Cock Lara Croft. It was like Guy Lara Croft, so I never really bothered, but apparently I'm really kind of cutting my nose off on that one, so I should probably give this one a go. We grabbed the third one. The second one I can pick up. I don't normally like buying stuff from CEX because actually some of these, you know, I could have got Uncharted 2, but it was in like the platinum case. But then some of these things I bought, they actually have the platinum version in the thing. They've just taken the platinum version out of the pack or whatever and put it in. Just Cause 2, audio on this digitally, own it on PC, played a bit of it back in the day. If anyone remembers, Mate21 did a fantastic review of this game way back in the day. It's way better than Grand Theft Auto 4 in my opinion. It was just stupid fun, just running around blowing things up. Never played it. It's Grand Theft Auto with horses. We own it on digital, and I think we may own it. Was this on 360? We might have owned this on 360, but yeah, whatever. The reason I don't generally like CEX, just as a note, is it used to be our local game station. And the local game station around this time period when Xbox 360s used to cook themselves, they used to wrap them in towels to reflow the solder. So you could have ended up buying a second-hand Xbox 360 that was dead. But CEX is different. They offer like money back and 2-year warranty on the stuff these days. So I'm not as bad with it, but some stuff's overpriced. Assassin's Creed, don't care what anyone says. This is my favourite Assassin's Creed. This is the best Assassin's Creed. Ezio Auditory's just not fun. Which then goes into Assassin's Creed 2. This came out around the same time that we were modifying our systems. So Reset Glitch Hack and Xbox 360 is our first one, Red Ringed. We did a firmware mod on the DVD drive on that. And we Reset Glitch Hacked an Xbox 360 Elite. We probably still have that somewhere. But yeah, that was when kind of everything started to be kind of copied onto hard drives to save diskage. But, you know, at this point, if I can't get access to my stuff and it's only going to cost me £1.50 for a punt to play this stuff, then, you know, hey, the game's scratched. Whatever. Someone who doesn't like Assassin's Creed games after Assassin's Creed 1, we're going all in. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I owned it back in the day. My mates really loved this one. I never really played it. Can't comment, so looking forward to giving that a go. Assassin's Creed Revelations. I don't know what goes on in this one at all. Or Brotherhood. Is this the one that does the Assassin's Creed 2 running around? You do like a base buildy thing? I don't remember, but either way, like there were these two which are like Assassin's Creed 2.5s. This is where I started to get really raggy with the Assassin's Creed series. Then Assassin's Creed 3, which is the Native American one. We had this on Wii U, I believe. Never actually got around to playing it, but here you go. I can now give that a crack. Last of Us. Haven't played it. Didn't play it. It's dumb that I didn't play it. It was kind of really... It's one of those things where it was so hyped, I was worried that I was going to buy it, play it, and not like it. And, well, for £4, I don't mind taking a punt. There's been tons of remasters of this over the years, or re-releases of this over the years. But, again, whilst the server's up, why not? Colin McRae's Dirt. Love me some Colin McRae stuff. There's some old jokes with my friends from high school about the old Colin McRae games from the old PlayStation days. Was it before or after Colin McRae passed away that they dropped Colin McRae's name from the Dirt games? But I believe he passed in a helicopter crash. A fantastic rally driver for Subaru. Really fun games. I have this knack as well saying I don't like XYZ type of game, and then you'll find that I've got thousands of the damn things. Racing games are generally one of the things that I used to say I wasn't a huge fan of, but I've put lots of time into racing games over the years, and I did mention Gran Turismo earlier. MotorStorm. I owned MotorStorm Apocalypse. I don't know what that is in relation to MotorStorm. I assume this is just the first one. £2, I'll take a punt. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Soap McTavish, absolute badass. First person shooter. Everyone knows CoD. Again, Soap McTavish. You can't. The dude's a legend. Fictional character, absolute legend. You gotta play some Call of Duty with some Soap McTavish in it. But then you got to continue Soap's story, and you don't play as Soap in this one. You play as another guy whose name I don't remember. Soap is still an absolute badass though, Soap and Price. I own the remakes of these two on PC. I haven't played them yet. I have a knack of buying games and not playing them, which is kind of what this is about. It's just to go through and play a bunch of old games, or playing even a bunch of new games. Just playing the damn games, man. If you don't like something, don't play it. Buy it with the intention of playing it. Whatever. The end of the Soap series. No words here. Again, you don't play as Soap McTavish, but it's a pretty solid one. We have finished the Call of Duty games before, but you know, I figured why not? It's a quid. You can't go wrong for a quid. But the multiplayer's broke. It's gone. It doesn't matter. I can still run around and go, yeah, terrorism, and not terrorism, but you know what I mean. Shoot the terrorists. Freedom. So good times for a quid. Call of Duty Black Ops. Was this the first one that had... It's not the first one that had Viktor Reznov in it, but I think it's Call of Duty Black Ops that has Viktor Reznov in it. It takes place after Call of Duty World at War, which I didn't pick up off the shelf, but I probably will if it's still there when I get a chance, because World at War is amazing. Viktor Reznov is a badass. Just in case anyone wants to check out what some of these games are like, go and check out Mali 13. He's done playthroughs of a ton of these over the years, and it's all pretty rad. But yeah, this one's pretty good. I will throw out there, the first game I ever bought full price on Steam was Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It might have been 3, or it might have actually been this one, and I was just, oh, no. I don't like Call of Duty multiplayer at all. Grand Theft Auto 4. Housemates back in the day absolutely loved this one. That was a kind of everyone gets together and take the mick as you rock around as, is it Nico Bellic? And, you go to the titty bar with your brother, your cousin, or whatever, and it's just like a generally alright geezer just doing stuff to get by. Like, is that how you can explain Grand Theft Auto? Yeah, you're generally an alright guy, but you're just doing things to get by. Whatever. Grand Theft Auto 4, not as good as Just Cause 2, but again, my opinion. And Grand Theft Auto 5. On this one on PC, didn't like it at all. Didn't like it at all. The first thing that put me off was when a couple of the characters, there's a mission where you play as a guy whose name I have completely forgotten. and he has like the ability to slow down time. You are literally stealing a car, you and your mate are stealing a car, and the second that you could slow down time, I was like, nah, mate, I don't want to play this anymore. What you done to my Grand Theft Auto? And I just understand that like I'm old enough to have sat and played through like GTA 1, GTA 2, GTA London, and been pretty much of age to play those games. What y'all doing with my Grand Theft Auto? Don't give me superpowers. Although this splits, there's 3. That's a bit tasty. This is split into a 3 dude campaign, I think. Don't remember the guys' names. Some kids around here really like this game because they quote it a lot. It makes Rockstar a lot of money. Good job, guys. I wonder how GTA 6 is going to come about, but PlayStation 3 version, I'll take a crack at it. Oh, and I didn't like GTA Online either. I played that with some friends. It was not fun at all. You go, that's the end of the pickups, right? No, because this VitaMeansLife. I said I was a Vita Islander. Yes, I already own a PlayStation Vita. Yes, it still works. It's the fat. It needs a memory card on it. The memory card in it is still okay, albeit ridiculously small. I didn't want to mod my original fat, so I picked up an absolutely gorgeous, with the exception of the finger smudges, PS Vita Slim. And I had every intention of modifying this because it comes with, or flashing custom firmware onto this, so that I could just literally take the SD to Vita card out of the Vita TV and pop it into here. Because this, much like the Vita TV, has built-in storage. 1 gig of internal storage, which you can then use to do the mods and flash and things and blah, blah, blah. Apparently there might be something you can do with the original OLED, but I didn't bother. I haven't bothered modding this yet either. I'm tempted not to, which is silly, but I when we got the PlayStation 3, I didn't realise that you could download, you could with PSP games as well, actually. You can download your Vita stuff onto here and then install it onto Vita. So I've just literally downloaded pretty much my entire Vita library onto here, and then I'll just plug in the cable. Bonus to the Slim, it doesn't have 3G or anything on it, but it does let you charge over micro USB. You can mod these and the FATs to have USB-C. I'm not going to do that, but you know, this is if there was a reason to do this thing, it's here. It's the Vita. I love it. It's, oh, Vita, you are so good. And whilst the servers are still up, like whilst I can still sync my saves between this, the Vita TV, and all that kind of stuff, then I am cool with still buying things for these systems. As I say, when it comes to like stuff like the 3DS, it's gone, Xbox 360 and all that, just either emulate it or custom firmware the damn things, but you can still access some parts of the services that were available to these, so you know, why not? I'm also kind of tempted to put some films and that on here, because that's what I used to do when I was much younger. We'd use these as media players. We'd copy our films, we'd rip our films. Does anyone remember the iPod video? No, you're not old enough for that? Don't worry about it. But when I got my first, I remember my first flat, I had an iPod video and a TV, and we ripped all of our DVDs. We all got together collectively, ripped our DVDs, copied them onto this iPod, and we just kind of hooked them. We hooked the iPod into the TV, and that was like effectively like our Netflix. We didn't have a DVD player or anything. We just copied the things onto our laptop, copy them onto the iPod, and we'd sit and watch films that way. Same for this. I am really psyched to have all of this. Kind of glad to get back into it. Oh. It's dark. We ran out of storage on the phone, so this clearly has gone on a little too long, and the sun has gone away. Look, I've completely lost track of what I was ranting about, and that would have probably been a nice way to end it, but for anyone that has got to this point, if anyone's got to this point, and I doubt it. Well, I'm at this point. Advice. Accessories for retro consoles, even ones that are somewhat readily available, are pretty pricey. And if you have a system now that you plan to keep for a period of time, right? Like you've got your PS3, PS4, PS5, Xbox, Xbox One, whatever it is, whatever consoles you have now, if they are still readily available, if there's one thing I'm going to recommend you stock up on, control pads. Control pads are an accessory that are just going to go up and up and up and up and up in price. No one ever seems to really think about them. They always think of the consoles. And you buy PlayStation 3 pads now, as an example, because we're all sat here, they're pricey, near enough the same price that you'd pay for them brand spanking the new. They're going to have worn sticks, worn buttons. You can change all that stuff. You can repair all that stuff. However, there are some places out there, the market is flooded with counterfeits, and you can quite easily find yourself buying a system or a control. There are people out there selling new official controls still in box, and it's a counterfeit. And some people say, well, what do I care as long as I can play the game? That's cool, but in the case of something like this, the PlayStation 3, to get into the system, the recovery menu, you need to have an official control pad. You need to have an official pad. From what I am aware, third-party pads do not work in the recovery menus. You can play games. There are a couple of somewhat nice third-party pads out for the PlayStation 3 that will function entirely on the PlayStation 3 with gyro controls and analog face buttons and that. But they may not work in the recovery menu. And if your console ever needs to have its firmware installed, refreshed, updated, whatever, you will need to have an official pad, a 6-axis or a DualShock 3. Or if when the store does get shut down, the PSN does get shut down, and you want to soft mod these things, you are going to need an official pad. With whatever systems you own these days, right now, if you can, buy controllers, because they are consumables. They will wear out, they will break. Buy pads, okay? Just buy pads. That's my groove for the end of this video, man. Really glad to be getting into this stuff again. We're gonna try and build like a little kind of gaming setup again, I think. Nothing super hardcore, but man, this is cool. Rabbiting on way too long. Love me my Vita. The VitaIsland is totally a thing. I wish Sony would re-release this or a type of it. And I want to have a bit of a rant at some point about how I think a lot of companies could do limited runs, limited re-releases of these devices, of these games, or even just the hardware, if not the games. People will buy them, right? They could do it and people will buy them, but that's for another time. So first pickups video turned into a massive rant, bit of story time, totally incoherent fluff. Find the games you like, play what you like, just have fun. Just have fun, because this stuff don't last forever. Enjoy it while you can.